Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. 24 hours after the dust cleared and the smoke has settled from the disaster that was the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, we came to last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, and we all had the hope and the dreams and the real faith in the wrestling gods above that they were going to deliver us from this evil, this miserable MIZtake, known as The Miz, being crowned the heavyweight champion, cashing in on the Money in the Bank, crashing down on every single wrestling fan in the world. And I can't stand all of the people that are all like, oh, this is so great, The Miz deserves it. Stop that crap right now. The Miz is going to be a transitional champion. We didn't need him to make it to the end of Monday Night Raw tonight with the belt, but all Monday Night Raw was a way to extend things. They want to make things last a little bit longer. They want to give The Miz a championship reign more than one day. It's unnecessary, but here we are. And thankfully, we have hope in the former almighty Milk Dud, the bionic butt cheek having old Leo Rush guy hanging out with Bobby Lashley, who has finally reached his full potential thanks to the Hurt Business and the involvement with MVP, and the countdown begins. And it is not the 1 hour countdown to 9 o'clock that we had to see 50,000 times during Monday Night Raw, as if we don't all have a clock in our house or in our hands on our phones for the most part, like we can't keep track of the time. Oh, when are we going to get to 9 o'clock, Gene? I don't know who the hell Gene is, but anyway, if you ask Gene, he'll tell you to check your freaking watch. Check your watch. You don't have to go by a stupid graphic with The Miz and Bobby Lashley and the little time clock, and we have a countdown to the... It's just, the countdown is on to next Monday. That's when the countdown is on to, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait, because this whole thing with The Miz could have been avoided if the WWE knew what they were doing, which we all know they clearly do not. And there's only one person we could thank for all of this misery.
Thanks, Vince.
Thanks, Vince, indeed. And we are going to talk about it all right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Monday Night Raw review. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
That guy Vince, he's crazy.
Vince is freaking crazy. He's out of his mind. All of this was completely unnecessary. And the only reason, at least for me, that I tuned into Monday Night Raw was to see The Miz hand that belt to somebody else. We went over during the Elimination Chamber review why it was such a bad idea, why The Miz didn't need to have this happen, why none of it even makes sense. The guy cashed the Money in the Bank in like 2 or 3 times unsuccessfully. He kept getting it back as he was crying like a crybaby. He had an entire year of bullshit stories and jokey comedy act nonsense. He made John Morrison look even worse than he could have upon his return to the WWE. All we get week after week is Miz TV after Miz TV after Miz TV. And they're all fucking awful. None of them do anything for anybody. It's just waste of time. Waste of television space, and I don't get it. Is The Miz really a cash cow? No. Why does The Miz deserve to have another championship title reign? Oh, I'm a 2-time Grand Slam champion. I'm a this, I'm a that. Nobody cares. Nobody cared when he did it the first time. Nobody definitely cares right now. All anybody wants to know is what's going to happen as we get closer to WrestleMania. The writing's on the wall. Bobby Lashley's going to be the champion before all is said and done. If he's not, then oh my God, are we really in for a terrible road to WrestleMania? I mean, all the signs point to that happening, right? But we all know that, especially during WrestleMania season, the WWE likes to throw little curveballs, little red herrings out there, as if their fucking product don't stink enough. They want to throw red herring fish at you. Here, smell this fish, and get you off the scent of the dog shit that we're planting down the lane over here that's going to lead us to The Miz being in the main event of WrestleMania somehow. That better not happen. The only thing that needs to happen, Bobby Lashley needs to win the title. Whether it's going to be a rematch for Drew, a rematch for Drew, or they do the smart thing and they have enough time, and you know Vince loves himself some Brock Lesnar, and if we could have Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, right now with the way Lashley's on fire, I say why not? I say why the hell not? As long as Brock doesn't win. Let Brock put Bobby over and make him the new beast. He's been doing some of the best work I've seen him do, maybe the very best he's been since his return. Because remember, we had Bobby Lashley's sisters in the feud with Sami Zayn. We had Bobby Lash with Leo Rush, the little yip manager, who was way better than he was given credit for and shouldn't have been just relegated to managerial positionings. But whatever it is, Lashley never looked this good. And I don't know if it's MVP, I don't know if it's the Hurt Business, I don't know if it's just the overall change in attitude. His promos are still a little but I'm all for Bobby Lashley taking control right now. Being the man, being the face of the company, the face of Monday Night Raw. Do something different, do something special. The bad thing about it is not just the whole Miz situation, but that Drew McIntyre really got the fucking short end of the stick. He had an entire championship reign without any fans to celebrate with, which really sucks. And that's going to stick in his craw for a while. Believe me, it's going to eat at him a little bit. When things get back to normal and wrestling goes the way it was, he's going to keep going, man, I wish I had this crowd. Do you know how volcanic the crowd would have been at the Elimination Chamber? How it would have just came off so much better with a live audience? But we live in the times that we live in, and there's nothing we can do right now. But the WWE should have done to get to this point. They didn't need to use The Miz. He could have taken his Money in the Bank briefcase, thrown it in a river, and then jumped in after it and sank with it. It wouldn't have made a difference. We didn't need The Miz or his Money in the Bank to make any of this happen. All you needed to do was have Bobby Lashley in the Elimination Chamber instead of The Miz, have Sheamus be the one to eliminate Drew McIntyre from the Elimination Chamber, since, you know, they spent the last 2 months building up this friendship so that it could implode. Where does that go now? Right down the fucking tubes, that's where it goes. But you have that happen so that you continue that on when Bobby Lashley ends up winning and becoming the new champion after the Elimination Chamber. Lashley can go on to his new challenger, hopefully a Brock Lesnar or somebody of better caliber, and not just a rematch for Drew. And then Drew, consequently, has his deep-seated rivalry with his longtime best friend going to culminate at WrestleMania in a singles match, maybe a cage match, maybe a tables match, maybe a Scottish street fight, you know, something that would have brought that feud to a head, since you put so much work into it, but you didn't want to do that. For some reason, you felt it necessary to make The Miz the transitional champion, and the transition better fucking take place next Monday, or I'm going to lose my shit. I really am going to lose my shit. Because the rest of this show, outside of Bobby Lashley staking claim to the championship, he believes it's pretty much his. It's only a matter of time. We had to open the show with a championship edition of Miz TV so that The Miz can tout all his accolades, throw everybody under the bus, including Bobby Lashley, talking about how he's better than this one, better than that one, blah, 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 which prompts Bobby Lashley to come out and be like, we made a deal, I want my match for that belt, and I want it now. And then The Miz becomes the shit heel we all know he is, and he's going to try to wiggle and worm his way out of this. And all of this was making me very uncomfortable, because it just made me feel like I know the end of the show is not going to feature a championship change. Because before things could even really get going. Braun, bam, I'm worthless and I suck. Blah, 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 blah. Dress like a truck. Blah, 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 blah. I can't stand Braun Strowman. You want to talk about the biggest waste of a big man since the Big Show. We've called him Big Show 2.0 for a reason. 1 week he's good, 1 week he's bad, and now he wants a shot at the championship. I don't know why. He hasn't been around. He hasn't won anything. He didn't even qualify for the chamber. What do you have to lay claim to this championship, you giant, jolly, Jeep-looking giant? I don't get it. None of that makes sense. And then, to make matters worse, bad enough we got The Miz as the champion. It's bad enough that Braun Strowman's out there to start Raw. What happens next? Here comes the money! And I want to go run for my life because I'm going to get sweat dripping all over me. He's going to bring a whole fucking trail of money, 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 sweat and money. And I can't stand it. I can't stand it. There's no reason for Shane McMahon to be around. There's no reason for Shane McMahon to have a match with Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. And if you were listening closely enough, you know that's the direction in which we are headed. Do we need a Shane McMahon match? We barely need a Braun Strowman match. If you take two pieces of shit and put them together on a plate, no matter how you dress the plate around it, it's still two lumps of shit, and nobody wants to eat that. Wow, I didn't think I was this mad still. I figured, 24 hours later, I'll cool down a little bit, but man, this show fucking sucked. Outside of the fact that Bobby Lashley's Rise is great, the rest of the show sucked. You want to know why? You want to hear what else was on this show? Let's go through the rest of what was on this fucking show. Randy Orton threw up in his mouth a little bit. He probably saw a picture of the fucking Miz with the championship belt. That's how I felt after I watched the Elimination Chamber. I thought I was throwing up black goo from my guts. What's happening to me? I'm possessed. Every time I want to do something, I get distracted. It's not the Fiend. I burn the Fiend. But now it's Alexa Bliss. And then before he goes any further, he's been spitting up blood. Like Papa Shango came out of nowhere. I'm pretty sure that Bray Wyatt's coming back as some sort of a amalgamation of the Fiend and Papa Shango, since he used the same black drippy goo coming out of, Randy Orton's face as we've seen Papa Shango use on the Ultimate Warrior and things like that. Because they think we forget. They think we don't have any brains. And they're doing this now for what? More supernatural mumbo jumbo on something that has fizzled out so hard. Does anybody give a shit about Randy Orton and The Fiend anymore? The Fiend's been gone for like a month and a half. Randy's had his attention everywhere else, and now he's still being attacked by Alexa Bliss, who should be kicking ass in the women's division, not targeting Randy fucking Orton because The Fiend is out of commission. I don't understand it. Maybe that's why Randy threw up black. I'm stuck in this feud. You know what else was on this fucking card? We had another championship match. The United States champion, Matt Riddle, going up against John Morrison. It was a non-title match. But it was an unnecessary match. We needed to see John Morrison versus Matt Riddle. For what? For what? I don't know where they're going with Riddle as the champion. I certainly don't care as soon as Joe Blow, whatever you want to call John Morrison now, I don't care. The Miz has made me not care about John Morrison. Especially coming off this Miz TV segment, I don't give a shit. The match was okay at best, but the end was what it was. And Matt Riddle wins this match, stays your champion. You knew that was going to happen. John Morrison is just a glorified jobber to the stars at this point, if you want to classify Matt Riddle a star. I certainly don't. There was a graphic for Rhea Ripley coming to Monday Night Raw, and I'm saying this is like 8 months too late. Rhea Ripley should have came to Monday Night Raw after she was screwed by Charlotte Flair. And what reason is there for Rhea Ripley to come to a dead and defunct woman division that they don't give enough of a shit about to feature any programs for their women's champions singularly? They have to lump the women's championship in with the tag team championships because Nia Jax's butthole is more over than Asuka, I assume? You explain it to me. Explain it to me. Because I can't fucking figure it out. Rhea Ripley, stay in NXT, honey. You are fantastic. You're great. I hate that you stole my nickname, but I can't blame you because Cody Rhodes stole it first. I'm the original fucking nightmare in the wrestling community. Nobody's ever used it, but it's who I am, and that's fine. I am more than happy to share it with Rhea Ripley. She's fucking fantastic. She doesn't deserve to be going to Monday Night Raw just for them to feed her back to Charlotte. Oh, by the way, speaking of Charlotte, you know what else happened on this show? Way too much. Charlotte Flair. You see, now that they could use Asuka again because Charlotte was available for this show, they didn't have anything for Charlotte to do at the Elimination Chamber, so we didn't get to see Asuka at the Chamber. But tonight on Raw, we can resume things. We don't have Lacey Evans and Ric Flair. Bam, bam. Thank God they're gone. Okay? But we have Charlotte Flair, way overexposed. Again, she has a tag team match with the women's champion Asuka. They put that team back together for some unknown reason. Going up against Jackson Baszler. No championships of any kind are on the line. But of course, what did they do? What did they do? They started the inevitable path of Charlotte to the championship at WrestleMania. She kicked Asuka in the face in the middle of their tag team match, caused them to lose, and then walked out on Asuka because Asuka was pissed. Charlotte pretended to care. She gave her hand like, oh, let me help you up. I'm sorry I fucked up. She didn't seem to have much emotion, but then again, Robobot Charlotte never does. And then she picks up Asuka, goes to pick up Asuka. Asuka swats her away, and she just leaves her there. Oh, bro, I'm done. But wait, there's more. There's more. Vince McMahon feels it necessary that we need to be further explained because we're fucking idiots what's going on with Charlotte and Lacey and Ric Flair. So they have this very long back and forth between Charlotte and Ric, where Charlotte's essentially telling him, Dad, I want you to go home. I am my own woman, and I do not need you. I am a Flair. I will be a Flair. I want to get things done on my own, even though she's coming out in his fucking robes, stealing his woo, doing the whole fucking figure four leg lock, turning it into the figure eight. You're really being yourself. You're really being yourself, Charlotte. Keep doing that. You'll be a success one day, kid. I want to be myself. Half your fucking theme song is your father's old theme song, but you continue being yourself because that's what Vince likes to jerk off to in the back. Disrespecting Ric Flair again, telling him, just go home, Dad. Rick tells us, oh, well, I never said I was Lacey Evans' baby daddy, but I seen potential. I seen potential in Lacey. He wanted to expand the brand. He's seen what we've been saying all along. Lacey Evans is just another Charlotte Flair. So he wanted to have two of them in his camp. He wanted to expand the brand, he kept saying, expand the legacy of the Flair name. You could have done better than that, Nate. But completely unnecessary, overdone. How many times are we going to see Charlotte Flair screaming in her father's face and telling him to fucking get lost? I don't need to see this again. It didn't work the first time. I don't think it's going to work now. None of it made sense. None of it was necessary. Just like Bad Bunny being on this show is unnecessary. And making Damian Priest look like I don't know. It doesn't really. I don't know. Look, let's put it this way. All right, let's take Bad Bunny out of the equation. Who is your favorite musical act that there is? Imagine who it is. Obviously, we can't interact, but think of your favorite superstar. Maybe it's Eminem, right? Or maybe it's Jay-Z. Maybe it's somebody in the rock and roll world. Maybe you're a big fan of Metallica. Do you want to see fucking James Hetfield of Metallica on Monday Night Raw? No, you don't. You want him walking out there with a guy like Damian Priest? You know, the more I'm saying it, the more that actually kind of makes sense. The guy from Metallica walking out with this Damian Priest. Everybody knows Metallica. Rap fans, metal fans, old fans, new fans. Everybody knows what a Metallica is. Everybody knows it. And maybe they could have made him a new theme song. So my example is terrible. But you get the point. No matter who it is you love in the entertainment world, actor, musician, whatever, you don't want them on Monday Night Raw or on any wrestling show taking all of the focus away from the talent in the ring. Nobody's tuning into WrestleMania because we got Bad Bunny now. You know what I'm saying? It's just unnecessary. And I feel like it makes the superstars look terrible. But what was pretty entertaining was R-Truth's interaction with them, because R-Truth is my favorite comedian on the Raw roster. He makes me genuinely laugh, because I don't think R-Truth is scripted. You can't write the shit this man says. And he kept calling Bad Bunny Bugs Bunny, as he's been doing over the last couple of weeks. And Damian Priest took offense to this. He's like, it's Bad Bunny, it's not Bugs. And then Truth was like, oh, my bad, Bunny. And it made me fucking chuckle, alright? Damian Priest didn't seem to find it funny. I did, but then Truth went away. Because Damian Priest is going to protect the 24/7 Avocado Championship on the belt of the Bad Bunny. That was on this show. You know what else was on this show? The New Day versus Retribution. Next. Again? What? You really have nothing better to do with these guys? You have tea bags and mush in there. You got Mustafa on the outside. Slapnuts is on the outside. Mia Yim is back with her mask. And, it's great to see her back at ringside. Not that she adds anything to this ridiculous stable that should just go away. And that has been nothing but a disappointment. And after the New Day defeated them tonight, as they've been known to do, Ali freaked out. Mustafa Ali freaked out. He's yelling at Retribution. How long do they have to keep disrespecting him? How long do I have to keep dealing with this crap, loss after loss after loss? And I feel like that's exactly what I would have said if I was Mustafa Ali. So this guy is coming to his senses. All he needs to do is kick the rest of these monkeys out and go back on his own. Because as cool as this could have been, they have ruined it to the point where Retribution is a synonym for shit. And when they come out there, nobody cares. And they don't win. They were winning, but now they're not winning again. It's just, even when they were winning, nobody gave a shit. The faster this group goes away, the better. For us. During the second hour, we got the whole fucking Shane McMahon coming out and Braun Strowman coming out and making the main event for the episode Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Extending the Miz's title reign for 1 week. And if Braun Strowman beats Bobby, he gets to be in that match and it'll be a triple threat. I've never in my life wanted Bobby Lashley to win any more than I did on last night's Monday Night Raw. I could tell you that, honestly. So that was made by Shane after he dripped his buckets of sweat in the ring and then walked out. He also had a couple of insults for Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was talking shit to Shane O'Mac. I certainly am not interested in any of this tension between these two, because that will be my bathroom break for WrestleMania no matter which night it's on. Saturday night, Sunday night, I don't care. That's a match I'm not watching. I'm not interested in at all. At all. And what are they going to do? Put it in the Raw Underground? Oh, the Raw Underground returns for this one match for Strowman and Shane McMahon. I don't give a fuck. I really, really don't. We had a really quick tag team tornado match. I love tornado tags. I don't think they do them enough. I think it brings a lot of excitement to a tag team matchup. This match barely went 5 minutes. The really bad thing about this match was that it featured the Loser House Party. How many times are we going to see Shelton and Cedric or some combination of the Hurt Business fighting against the Loser House Party? We've been seeing this far too long. It's just another fucking rematch. And as good as it is to see the tornado tag rules and keeps the match kind of flowing and fast and exciting, it was over way before it should have been. They could have gave this match easily another 5 to 10 minutes instead of making us watch Damian Priest versus Angel Garza for no reason. Apparently Angel Garza is now Spanish for the most recent loser. We're going to just have him lose now all the time. The guy's so good. You could see that in the match he had with Damian Priest. The guy's so good. He gave Priest kind of a hard time, made him look good all at the same time, trying to keep himself looking good. This match had a little bit more time than the tag team match, but the tag team match was better. And even, it didn't matter. My favorite thing about that tag team match was the fact that it seems like Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander are on the same page, and that whole, we're breaking up the Hurt business is not going to happen. And then, as I said, we had Damian Priest versus Angel Garza. Damian Priest gets the win. He changed the name of his finishing maneuver from The Reckoning to Hit the Lights. I guess so that there would be no more confusion with Mia Yim. Was that a thing? Were people getting it confused? Because she hasn't even been on TV. Do people care? I didn't care. Whatever. The sooner Damian Priest gets away from the Bad Bunny scenario and everything, the better. I want to see what they do with him, what their plans are for him, or is he just going to be the next in a long line of NXT call-ups that Vince McMahon thinks is cool for a couple of weeks and then shits down the toilet? Remember how he chewed up Drew McIntyre and ate it and then shit it out on Sunday night? Remember how he did that to Keith Lee and he doesn't see anything in Keith Lee and he's got no spark, but Damian Priest has got the spark. He took Dominik Dijakovic and he threw him in a fucking stupid Goonies mask. Whatever. Randy Orton showed up and rode up all over himself, as we talked about already. We had the women's tag team matchup, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeating Asuka and Charlotte Flair. There is so much wrong with this, but I could solve it for you in one move. One move. The only thing you needed to do was keep Asuka out of the tag team situation. You could have put fucking Charlotte with any one of the bimbo blondes on Monday Night Raw. You could have put her with Mandy. You could have put her back with Dana Botch. You could have put her with anybody. You didn't need to put her with Asuka just so that you could break them up and do that phony tag team tension as we go along on this. All they needed to do was, while Charlotte was out even, there is two women on Monday Night Raw that should have been feuding this whole time. And it's the champion, Asuka, and Shayna fucking Baszler. You got Asuka and Shayna on the show. All these months, have they ever gone one-on-one? I don't know if that's the case. And if they have, it certainly wasn't for the championship. And if they did, it certainly wasn't given enough time for us to really give a shit about it. Because I doubt that actually happened. But if they could have spent the last 6 months building that program, Shayna Baszler being made to look important with the stupid title reign with Nia Jax, if that was so important, you could have kept that in. But then Baszler and Asuka, one-on-one, pay-per-view after pay-per-view, building it up, telling the story, culminating it at WrestleMania. You don't need Charlotte Flair. That's all you needed to do. Two pure strikers, two real women's wrestlers that could put on a hell of a fucking match. We don't need a 6-foot-tall blonde lady who does a moonsault she shouldn't be doing and makes it look like crap when she does. I'm so over it. Charlotte Flair is the new Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is actually fucking great now. But I don't think Charlotte Flair is going to get to that greatness because they just won't stop. I'm done with Charlotte Flair. You know, I don't understand what Raw is thinking. I think that either they truly don't watch SmackDown or they completely forgot that we watched Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy like 97 times with a lot of bad jokes about his alcoholism, with pee being thrown in people's faces, and things like that were terrible the first time. But at least we got through this match for Sheamus without him making any fucking liquor jokes. That's the best thing about it. Sheamus hits the bro kick, gets the pinfall win. After this is when Charlotte Flair freaked out on Rick, which nobody needed to see. We had a replay of Randy Orton throwing up his slime because, we all didn't see it the first time. And then we had a return to the Divas era. We had 4 women thrown into a match that lasted about 60 seconds. Now, not that I'm an advocate of Lana, nor am I an advocate for Dana Botch, Dana Brooke, good old Dick Lips herself, but I don't think this was necessary. And I feel like matches like this are more detrimental than they are good for the women's division. How does Naomi and Lana defeating Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke in 1 minute make them qualified to fight Jackson Baszler or something? I don't understand. This was a really quick squash Unnecessary 2-minute filler. You couldn't have I would have just ran an extra commercial. Scratch that match. Add some more commercials. This is unnecessary. It's about as unnecessary as having AJ Styles in a match with Ricochet, which also happened on this show. AJ Styles with almost defeated Ricochet in less than 5 minutes. How do you give AJ Styles and Ricochet 5 minutes to wrestle? That is a great story that's waiting to be told. These two guys could have put on a barn burner. But no. You know why? Because this segment was not about AJ Styles. It was not about Ricochet. Two of the greatest wrestlers on God's green earth. And Vince McMahon finds it necessary to focus your attention on the 7-foot giant man, because that's what gets his dick hard. And he's got to make us want to see Omos in the ring. Almost threw Ricochet around like he was a rag doll. And none of this came off good. Made Ricochet look like a jerk. Made Omos look like a bully. And I would have much rather watch AJ Styles versus Ricochet for a solid 10 minutes and see what these guys could really come up with. Not have a little spot for the giant Omos. And then we finished the match. We finished the night with the main event match. John Morrison and The Miz were in the back arguing over which outcome would be worse for The Miz. Morrison says they should be cheering for Lashley. And then Strowman showed up, and then the two jerk-offs, the World Heavyweight Champion and his lackey, ran away like two little bitches in the night. That's your World Heavyweight Champion. A slimy chicken shit weasel. The Miz. For no reason at all. Thankfully, Bobby Lashley defeated Braun Strowman, and he didn't just beat Braun Strowman, he beat Braun Strowman clean. Although he had chop blocked him earlier in the night, this was Lashley's moment. Lashley took Braun Strowman out of the equation, and now Lashley's got his eyes set and focused on The Miz for next week. The Miz actually tried to get in an attack on Bobby Lashley before the night was over, but Lashley answered with a spine buster and a spear, and he is ready, he is prime, and he is going to be our next World Heavyweight Champion, and it better happen sooner than later. It's bad enough that they delayed this shit as it is for 7 more days. So unnecessary. Such bullshit this show was. An absolute waste of everybody's time. You could have skipped tonight's show altogether, just waited for last night's show altogether, and just waited for Monday next week, where the big thing is happening. And the big thing right now is the Milk Dud and his turnaround, right? The rise of Lashley from Milk Dud to main event. I call it like I see him, and I'm never one who will not admit when he is wrong. And I was not wrong about Bobby Lashley 2017, 18, and 19. I wasn't wrong about that. And I'm not wrong about him now. He wasn't being used very well. But now, they seem to have tapped into something. They're doing it well enough, I guess. I just don't understand the sidestep of The Miz. Completely unnecessary. Thank you guys so much for joining me here once again on the channel. We reviewed this piece of shit show once again, and as always, it gets a big fat heavy poop hammer almost from start to finish, because as good as the rise of Lashley is right now, we definitely needed more from this show. Like, this show was just rematch after rematch after rematch, with the exception of AJ and Ricochet, which I don't think has ever happened before. Maybe it did. No, it has happened. We've seen it before, but it's never been important. That's why nobody gives a shit about it. Don't give a shit about Matt Riddle and what he's doing. They treat this guy like a clown. He's still a clown, even with the championship belt. And until he gets serious, I ain't taking him seriously whatsoever. Hopefully they fix their miserable misstep of a MIZtake by giving the Miz the championship. And by this time next week, we could all be a little bit happier for it. And let me clarify something for Braun Strowman. The word you were looking for, bro, was qualify, not clarify. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the Team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. Most important member of the team, as always, each and every one of you. Smash that like button if you had a good time here today. Share this video with anybody you think might have a good time here with us as we continue to grow the Sledge Nation, one member at a time. And you can help me do that by hitting that subscribe button right now, getting us one more person closer to that 3,000 subscriber mark, and hopefully shooting us to the moon, to that 10K and beyond. The most underrated wrestling podcast in the world. The most entertaining. The most amusing.
Yeah, do I amuse you? What am I, a fucking clown? Do I amuse you?
I hope so. I do, and I hope you keep coming back for more. If you missed anything, the review of the Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, and everything in between, it'll be linked in the annotations up above. Thank you all so very much. My name is Nick Nightmare. This has been the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. That is going to do it. We are out of here. We will see you next time right here on your new favorite show, Wrestling Show, the Sledgehammer one, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, right here on Sledgehammer TV, only on YouTube.com. And I hope it was worth the wait. Sorry that I didn't get it up last night, but you know, sometimes you have problems like that. Maybe I should get myself a Blue Chew and then I won't have a problem getting it up. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys, and we'll see you Friday for SmackDown. Have a good one.